We've all seen the arguments, right? The endless debates online, maybe even across the dinner table. Android versus iPhone. But what if that whole fight is missing the point? What if the little device you carry around in your pocket is actually saying something really deep about who you are?
So let me just ask you, when you picked your phone, what was it really about? Was it just the camera or what your friends were using? Or was there something else going on under the surface? Maybe something you didn't even notice at the time. The source material we're looking at today suggests it is so much more than a simple preference.
And boom, there it is. That's the core idea for this whole explainer. This choice isn't just about the tech. It's a reflection of your personal worldview. It's a signal about how you think about big ideas like freedom, order, control, and trust. It's your philosophy, right there in your hand.
So how in the world does a phone become a philosophy? Well, it all starts with the basic building blocks, the core principles behind the design. Let's break down these two very different paths, the path of freedom and the path of order.
This just lays it all out so perfectly. On one side, you've got Android. This is the path of freedom. It's all about being open, letting you experiment, giving you autonomy. It's for the person who loves to customize, to tinker, to have total control. And on the other side, the iPhone's path of order. This is about cohesion, everything fitting together beautifully, and trusting a single unified structure. It's all about simplicity and a polished system that, just works.
And what's so fascinating is that this isn't some new tech bro fight. It's a reflection of a story as old as time. It's that classic human tension, that push and pull between our deep desire for independence to do our own thing and our need for interdependence to be part of a reliable, secure group. Your phone is just the latest stage for this ancient play.
Okay, so let's dig a little deeper, from design philosophy down to personal values. Because what we're really talking about is what each of us prioritizes, not just in our digital lives, but, in our lives, period.
So the key idea here is that each system speaks a different moral language. The research suggests that Android users, they tend to value things like freedom, authenticity, personal control, all driven by this core principle of autonomy. On the flip side, iPhone users often lean towards stability, elegance, and this sense of collective trust, all guided by the principle of cohesion. And neither one is right or wrong. They're just two different ways of saying what's important.
And this all leads to two totally different ideas of what it feels like to be at ease with your tech. For one person, peace is that feeling of being in the driver's seat, having the autonomy to make that device 100% yours. For another person, peace is found in harmony, that feeling of a seamless, intuitive system where everything just clicks into place without you having to think about it. Two different paths, but both leading to a sense of comfort.
Okay, now this is where things get really interesting. We've talked philosophy, we've talked values, but what about actual psychology? Because researchers have actually studied the personality traits that line up with these choices, and what they found is pretty eye-opening.
Let's kick things off with Android. According to the studies we're looking at, people who choose Android tend to score a bit higher, on average, in a few specific personality areas.
And here they are: honesty, humility, agreeableness, and frugality. If you think about it, these are traits often connected to stuff like integrity, being a team player, and just a general sense of moderation.
So, what about the other side of the coin? As you might guess, the research points to a different set of traits that tend to be more common among iPhone users.
Here we see higher scores in emotionality, extroversion, and a focus on external validation. These are traits that you might tie to things like ambition, social energy, and being really tuned in to your status within a group.
Now, I really want to hammer this point home because it's probably the most important takeaway here. It is absolutely crucial to understand that neither of these sets of traits is better or worse. They just represent two completely valid and valuable ways of moving through the world. Two different moral ecosystems, and each one has its own logic and its own strengths. So, after looking at the philosophy, the values, and the psychology, what do we do with all this? Let's zoom back out and figure out what this all means when you get past the silly tech rivalry.
This isn't about Team Blue versus Team Green. Thinking like that just misses the absolute beauty of what's going on. This whole divide, it's a real-world symbol of that constant balancing act we all do every single day. The balance between our need to be a unique individual and our deep, fundamental need to connect and belong.
Understanding all of this actually gives us a kind of roadmap to having a healthier relationship with our gadgets. Let's call it the path to digital maturity. Step 1 is to just acknowledge that both of these worldviews, freedom and order, are totally valid. Step 2, Understand your own core values, what really makes you tick. And finally, step 3 is to consciously align your tools to reflect who you already are instead of letting your tools define you.
And that really brings us to the final and I think most powerful idea. The next time you see someone passionately defending their phone, maybe you'll see it differently. Because in the end, that little piece of glass and metal in your hand, it doesn't make you who you are. It's a mirror. It just reveals a little piece of the person you've been all along. The only question is, what's yours revealing about you?